What's up, guys? Nate Harvey, elitefts.com, equipment sales and coach. Today we're going to go over some accessory movements that I've been doing to myself and my athletes. The first one we're going to do is a belt squat wide stance march. This has been super with our athletes down at Waverly. What we'll have you guys do is get in the belt squat. You can also do these with just a belt and a chain, load it up with some weight. Obviously, the belt squat's optimal. But what we're going to do is we'll put the belt squat on, and we're going to march with a wide stance. The key on this one is try to stay on your post foot for a couple seconds. What that's going to do is kind of light that glute up on that side. And at the same time we're doing that, on the other leg that's coming up, as it comes up, the belt's going to push down on my leg and my knee's going to come up and we'll actually get a little traction on that hip. So this has been a really good warm up for us. We'll do typically 2 to 3 sets of 60 steps. If you want to, you could do this as a finisher too, where you could do the same thing, 60 steps, but just load a bunch of weight on. So if you're going to do warm up, keep it a little lighter, just burn the hips and open them up a little bit. If you're going to do as a finisher, load up the weight. You can kind of torture your guys or yourself a little bit too. Make sure it's right around your hips. You don't want this up too high. All I'm going to do is stand up. I really don't even have to pull my pin, okay? As I said, I'm going to go wide stance. And what I'm going to do is pull this knee up. Try to get your knee up to hip height on each step. And you can see I'm not in a big hurry. See a lot of people march online and it's this here. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to post on that leg. Post on that leg. You're going to lean a little bit. That's fine. But the big thing is get that knee up to waist height and try to post on that down leg for a second. Try to get a pause. Because what that does is when I'm standing on that one leg, it fires that glute up. And I get, like I said before, we'll get some traction on the other hip at the same time. All right, the next one we'll go over for the belt squat, or like I said, you can use a dip belt, hook some weight on there. You'll need some ankle weights for this. We didn't have these today, but when you're doing this, put some ankle weights on. When I was coaching in college, we would do ultra high rep hamstring leg curl work, and that seemed to eliminate a lot of our hamstring problems. We did banded work. I didn't do this one when I was coaching, but this would have been a great alternative. So I would put my ankle weights on, right, and I'm strapped into the belt squat. So I'm going to get my glutes fired up, like in the previous one. But at the same time, I'm going to post and do a leg curl. Post, do a leg curl. So I'm forced to stay on the one leg for a couple seconds while I do the leg curl. But then I can also get a ton of hamstring work in, like we talked about before, with the ankle weights. For your stronger guys, if you're going to do really high reps, like we used to get up to the point where we were doing 200 reps. For your real strong guys, you could probably go 15 pounds would be enough. And like your smaller athletes, you could even go 5 or 10 pounds. So you don't need a ton of weight. This is more of a time thing. You guys know you do anything for a minute or so, it's going to suck. So you don't need a ton of weight, but again, great warm up or finisher, wherever you decide to plug it in, should help you out. Today we're going to go over our rack attached leg curl. Have this in my garage, love it. Wish I had this when I was coaching. We used to do, our track athletes used to have to run inside. We didn't have an indoor facility, so they were running on the gym floor and a cement track that went up around the gym. We had a lot of hamstring issues. Heard about Louis talking about high rep hamstrings. We implemented that one spring and our hamstring issues pretty much disappeared. So since then, I've been a big fan of at least once a week doing some ultra high rep hamstring work. What we did when I was coaching, we did a couple different, we'd use ankle weights or banded leg curls. So we'd do some band leg curls, ultra high rep, get up to like 200 or 300 reps. Like I said, I wish I had these when I was coaching because I would have had one on every rack. Super quick, efficient to get your hamstring curls in, whether it's low rep or high rep. You can throw a band on there for some accommodating resistance, gives it a really nice feel. One thing I've been doing lately for myself and our athletes, our guys down at Waverly, have been doing this last training block. We're doing sets of 4 sets of 50. So it's basically go on, and I'm going to go here, and I'll just knock out 50 reps on one leg. So you can see I only got 10 pounds on there. They're using about 5. All right, I'll bang out those 50 reps, and I go right to the other leg. 50 reps, right? And then I'll go through until I get to my 200 total reps. Now what we'll do is we'll progress eventually to stay on the one side and do 200 straight. Okay, but that's a little bit down the road. What that does is pushes a ton of blood through the muscle and helps strengthen the tendons and ligaments. Okay, those don't typically have a large blood supply, so if we do ultra high reps, we can kind of force that adaptation. With this piece, it's very cool because it's you can kind of adjust your body position to where the area of the hamstring that you're going to train. So if I want to train kind of the lower half of my hamstring down going into my knee, when I get in here, I'm going to post up on this other foot and kind of grab the rack, and then I'm going to keep my torso and body upright. Okay, now this top pad should be just above my knee on my quad. Okay, it doesn't have to be all the way up your hip, but just above your knee, and I'm just going to stay vertical, and that's going to put most of the stress on the lower half of the hamstring there. Now, if I want to get upper into the more medial and up into where the glute inserts, the hamstring origin, I can hop in here, and then I'm going to basically do an RDL and find something to lean on out here and just stay bent at the waist. And as I go through in fatigue, you'll feel the fatigue is going to be up higher in the hamstring and more of the medial hamstring like you talked about. So what I would typically will do is I'll do them upright for 2 weeks and then do the bent variation for 2 weeks. So there's some training variation there for you. But like I said, super easy, super efficient to hammer out your hamstrings in your garage, or like I said, with athletes. Some other things I've been doing with it. We have the single leg squat attachments. With this, you can use this machine for those too and kind of double down on your money, I guess. So I'm here, I'm going to post on my back, get my front foot out in front, right? Then I'll just drop down in to my Bulgarian slip squat. Okay, you can load this up if you want. Throw a dumbbell in your hand, chain around your neck, band under your foot over your neck. But there's another use for it. Then the last thing I've been doing a lot of lately, grab one of these upper body straps. Throw a little bit of weight on there. Obviously, probably use more than 10 pounds, but for demonstration purposes, it'll work. Grab my straps, and you can do all sorts of rows, okay? Face pull. I could step in a little closer and just do rows. Lots of different things you can do. I've seen somebody get in front and do the bull kicks out the back for the glute, push on the back pad there. But a ton of different things you can do. Nice piece for your rack. Like I said, home gym, commercial gym, athletes, help anybody out with this one.